Are we all ready?
Yes.
Okay. I call the meeting of Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022 to order at 1800 hours. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, wait a minute.
May I have a pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay. Carol, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Chairman. Commissioner Terrell Moore,
Here.
Vice Chair Judy Bory. Here. Commissioner D.L. Kine.
Present.
Commissioner Sheryl Bigelow.
Here.
Commissioner Frank Shanebeck.
Here.
Commissioner Heather Muller.
Here.
Chairman Wayne Standage.
Here.
Thank you. We
Okay.
have 7, and we have a quorum, sir.
The commission may at this time take single action on any or all items listed as consent agenda items. Any member of the commission may remove an item from the consent agenda for discussion and cause a separate vote on the matter later in the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Parks and Recreation Commission agenda from the October 5th, 2022 regular meeting be amended by correcting the vote under selection of meeting dates, times, location, and purpose to show that Commissioner Kuhn was excused and Commissioner Muller cast a yes vote and then approve those minutes.
Okay. Okay. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay. Have you got that, Carol?
I do, sir.
Okay. Carol, may I have a roll call vote for this?
Certainly. Commissioner Heather Muller.
Yes.
Commissioner Terrell Moore.
Yes.
Vice Chair Judy Bory.
Yes.
Commissioner D.L. Kine.
Yes.
Commissioner Sheryl Bigelow.
Yes.
Commissioner Frank Shanebeck.
Yes.
Chairman Wayne Standage.
Yes.
Thank you. Approval is unanimous.
Okay. Okay, well, next item is information and reports. Do any commission members have something they have attended or they would like to share?
I think I should warn you that if you apply to help at the Halloween event, and if you apply too late, you'll get the graveyard shift.
That's funny how Frank said that because Sarah and I, we went over to the Halloween and there we were able to see Frank working very hard over there. Great job, what you did.
This sure was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to next year. I've got some plans for a pirate costume, and I sent Jamie a text. Maybe we could have Graveyard of the Caribbean rather than Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because we were kind of off in our own spot, so we didn't get all the traffic. In fact, I didn't see most of the people who won the contest. But I think with the little signage and jazzing the place up a little bit, it'll be a lot of fun. It was this year, too. Kids get a kick out of it.
We just need you to start saying, "Aye, matey."
Hey, well, I've got an eye patch, but I'm not going for the wooden leg thing. I'm sorry, there's a line to be drawn.
Okay, now we'll go to number 6, staff report.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm sporting my mud run shirt. I joked that I was the mud lifeguard. There was a couple kids that held their breath under the mud spa, and I thought I was going to jump in to rescue them.
Wow.
I was surprised how many kids and parents enjoyed it, but didn't feel like they got muddy enough, so they jumped in afterwards. It was real fun. I would say there's a huge turnout. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. I never knew it was that muddy and that fun, but it was a good event.
I think I missed the mud, Gene.
You missed the mud jump.
Gene, I just,
Missed the pool.
I You'd be surprised how many adults got in. I was
Yeah.
They really love
I
it.
was shocked. I was like, it'll just be a bunch of kids and their parents will just walk along the course. No, they were jumping, and some of the parents were jumping in and splashing the kids. They're like, come on, you're gonna get muddy later, and the kids didn't want to get in.
Okay.
And I also attended the Halloween event, and I have to say, those costumes were just amazing. You know, both parents and kids and dogs. I mean, you know, it was really a fun event, and you guys did an outstanding job. I just can't believe how much work you must have put into that event. So thank you, you know, from the community. Thanks a lot.
I stopped by that Halloween festival too, and I was just like, there's barely anybody here. It was ridiculous. I got to volunteer at the trunk or treat, and there were so many kids and so many adults that were dressed. It was super exciting. Dressed up. Sorry, let me clarify. Dressed up. I thought it was great. I thought the location was fabulous. I felt like there was plenty of space for everything. I thought it was great. I got lots of positive reviews because, of course, that I would ask questions where I'm just like, oh, I knew some people, so I was just like, hey. So, thumbs up, gold stars. Nicely done.
Gold stars.
We'll get you a gold star, Jamie.
Add collection.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I guess that takes care of that. Okay, number 6 is staff report. Director Langenbach, could you please give us a report?
Sure, thank you. So first up is parks and projects that are happening in our parks and facilities. So I wanted just to share briefly, we had a really exciting council meeting last night. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the other items that were at that, but our main topic last night was our our Parks and Recreation and Storage admin expansion that is at the Multi-Generational Center. But we got some really great news from council last night, so I'm just going to bring out a couple of our photos that we shared last night. Oh, maybe not. The only thing I didn't preload.
What's that?
Sorry. Give me one quick minute. Parks and Rec. We were able to show a few little renderings of the Multi-Gen Center, the expansion, and try not to think too much about the colors or anything like that. They're going to be doing things on the outside to match up with the existing brick and stucco and all of those different things. This was actually created for us because one of our big challenges, in order to maximize, once we learned how much space we had over there, we really wanted to maximize the space because we're only going to get one chance to do this addition.
Yeah.
And we needed to be able to fit all of our offices all of the staff that are currently in those 2 buildings, plus all of our storage. So some place for all those humongous skeletons from Halloween, they have to go somewhere. And so they ended up creating a little bit, this is bigger than what we originally anticipated early on. And because of that, the roof is a little bit more challenging than what we thought would be. And one of our number 1 goals was that we don't want to do anything to take away from the great views at the Multi-Gen Center when people are on the walking track. We don't want them staring down. You know, they see this great view of the Superstitions and all the other mountains. We don't want them looking down on a white foam gross roof. So one of the alternates to design was to have a fitness deck on top. Our fitness staff, other staff had shared, you know, maybe there was a way to capitalize, since it's right off of the fitness center's walking track, to add a deck that you could have yoga classes and fitness classes, maybe other things. And so we brought that concept to council early on. So we're in conceptual design phase, and we getting all of our estimates on construction. And so we really needed them to make a decision based on how much the estimate was for a fitness deck, because we can't really do 2 designs. We can't do, in order to get it there, the structural components of the entire building have to support that deck, and the roof would have to be something completely different. So it's not sensible to try to do 2 designs and have it as an alternate later on when it's time for construction. So the deck we shared is about $300,000 is the estimate, and that's with a little bit of a cushion in it for, you know, escalation of costs in the market. And so we talked with them a little bit about the benefits of having it and to get their feel, and they did give us direction to staff last night to move forward. They felt that this is a part that's good for the community. So we're really happy to be able to move our offices over there, but really want to have something also that the community can benefit at the same time, and we were able to do that and maximize the space over there. So this is kind of the outside view. The gym is over here. This is the back, like facing City Hall. And then offices are along this little walkway or this section of the building. Oh, nice. I put on two of the same picture.
Oh,
Good job, Liz.
Liz,
Yeah.
before
Yes.
before you
Oh,
change
wait.
pictures,
Yes.
is that top of the addition going to be a little bit above the windows as it looks? in the-
We're going to show you some views from the inside so that you'll be able to see what it looks like. So again, kind of just think about, this is a 3D version of what this looks like. This is what it looks like from the outside. I was just going the wrong way. From from the front, so the parking lot is out here, the gymnasium door is right here. And then our storage is, we have a big double door storage, so that way we can put all of our event storage and be able to drive right up like we do now and load and unload. Again, don't get caught up on what the windows and the doors look like. This is not the final design. This was just so they could give us put something together quickly to show us what the deck could look like. So, but it is theoretically, this is where the door to the main office would be, and there will be a little tiny lobby with a reception. This right here corner is Carol's office, so that she can help with the reception as well as have some office space. So from the upstairs, they took some photos and then they superimposed how the deck would fall out. So as somebody's here working out, at the bottom of their view, they're going to see this railing, but you can see here that it does not change their view of the superstitions or anything from where they're at. And in fact, obviously, as they get closer, they're going to see a lot more of it. We have one more slide in here. This was, right at the edge of the track here looking out. So again, it blends in. It's really nice. It'll be in colors that kind of enhance the desert. And then the deck itself. So again, blending in, making it so that it isn't like some offensive, it's hard to look at or whatever. And we would have been okay with that too, but it's just nice to be able to maximize the space that we have here. So we're just in that design phase right now. We are doing a different process this year, which is a job order contract. So the construction contractor, is paid for some pre-con services early on, and they work with the architect. And so what benefit we get from that is that they weigh in early on of what can or can't be done. They are a part of estimating, so we've already got a really good estimate. And the way a job order contract works, they have to show, it's open book, they have to show the pricing that they are getting for literally down to every thermostat, every card swiper, whatever is going to be there. That is all in this pricing. So we've kind of been able to start looking at that, and they're going back and forth and looking at things where we can have some cost savings, what are the things that we really need to have. But our council as well as city management is very adamant about maximizing that space and making sure that we can fit individuals over there. It will be a very, I always forget our word it's not cheap, but it's like utilitarian. So our area is not going to be, we're not looking at granite countertops and all kinds of, woodwork and cabinetry. It's going to be a Parks and Rec office, which is very, functional but also very cost effective, because that's kind of what our world is a little bit more like. We don't have big, huge offices. They're going to fit our space, but we're really excited about where it's coming. Go ahead.
Liz, can you hold events on that deck?
So we would be able to do like small
Events.
gatherings. So like a wedding, a small wedding would probably be able to be out there. If somebody wanted to have a meeting, an outdoor luncheon, something like that. We started thinking of all these ideas, and then it's like, oh, how about we put all the tables up? Chairs are kind of okay to move back and forth. There's still a lot of work. There's not really storage for all that. It is intended for fitness. But we're definitely getting excited about, there's a lot of neat things out there. And we can definitely use it as rental space. So that's another little way to bring in a little bit of revenue. Good question. Any other questions on the design? or what's it gonna be?
It's for I'm not very good with roofing or anything like that. So if there was going to be fitness classes on there, what's on there, like a pool deck kind of stuff, or?
Great question. I don't know yet. They haven't shown us exactly what they're recommending, but that might be it. I'm not sure. It will definitely be something that is probably weather resistant, and again, a pool deck, or even some of the products that we have in our lifeguard, in our bathhouse or something, that might be great. So we'll learn a little bit more, and then as we kind of have the final construction documents, we'll bring that to you guys again, just so you can kind of see where we're at and all of that. So good question. The schedule for this is that, so now they move into the full construction, now that they have the okay, that this is what we want, they'll move into full construction documents, and simultaneously, they do know approximately how much masonry, how many blocks, how many certain things that have really long lead times. I have some products that are going to be almost a 9-month to 10-month lead time. And so we will be going to council after the first of the year pretty quickly to get a contract, so that way we can do the contract for the construction, and they'll start doing purchasing those items now and waiting for them to get there so that they're ready to go building as soon as possible. They're anticipating, we're telling everybody winter of 2023. So it would be awesome if we are in by the end of the calendar year. Did he need anything?
No.
No, okay. So that's an update on that facility. I will bring next time photos of our tennis court. So that construction also started several weeks ago, and that's moving really quickly. They've done a great job. They have a very aggressive timeline because they need to be done in time for the tennis season, which is the beginning of February. So right now they're on track, and we have another meeting tomorrow, but I'll bring you pictures of that next. So that's another big project that's going on in the parks. Let's see. I also wanted just to share really quickly about, Judy didn't mention it, and was anybody else at Make a Difference Day? I don't want to leave you out. Okay. So Judy, you attended Make a Difference Day.
Yes.
It was the Saturday after our commission meeting, so it kind of feels like a long time ago, and it was this little past time. A lot of projects at Silly Mountain, doing work on the trail, as well as at Flatiron Park. The mural is getting more. Our artist, Josh Underwood, he has gotten that ready, and then a lot of our youth and community were able to help paint the mural. So he's still working on that right now, but a huge start was made on that. And then the focal point, Judy and Robin Barker, you can't see it.
Painted.
So I didn't get a picture of them, and I know I had some. I couldn't find it here at the last minute, but they have been, each of these years, they are filling in the lettering, because some of the old style bricks are faded. And at the same time, at the focal point, while they were doing that, we had, this is the transition time for flowers. And our community is definitely rightfully very concerned about, wasting money or spending money on things and it just getting taken out. But the reality is that really beautiful flowers like these are, they do need to transition. Not very many of them last year round. There are some that last year round. They're a little scragglier over time. And so we have chosen to invest in this one very small area in the downtown to really draw, visitors. We get people that come and take photos by it all the time. These were the summer flowers. And so during Make a Difference Day, we opened it up to the public. Individuals could come and go ahead and get some out and take it home and replant them. This is actually my plant right here, but Judy was able to take a few. Are yours still living, Judy?
Yes.
Awesome. All 3 of mine that were replanted are still living outside. So every year we've Jamie, are yours still living? Awesome. We've just tried to think of ways so that way we can extend the life and it still be a great thing for the community. Again, that program, I think, will just keep expanding. So having some instructions for people, it was kind of an experiment of would they survive if the flowers from last year from last season did not survive as well. But again, we've learned a lot. So just wanted to share with you that the new focal point flowers are up now. So part of Make a Difference Day, we had some young workers that came and helped us to take all the plants out, as well as all the cactus. So those of you that saw the cactus that we had, when they were first put in there, it really was a neat look. But as they get older, they do kind of age out for that area, and they're really hard to keep looking fabulous. So again, the community to come, the ones that were still healthy, people could take those. Any that were not taken could be repurposed in our parks. Those are very easy to transplant. We also had a local nursery that came and got whatever, helped us to move those, and they took whatever they could. So that helped us out tremendously. And then now our Parks Division has since replanted all the flowers, so those are coming in really nicely. We're excited. Geraniums, I think, is what we're trying this time. So they look really good right now. So just wanted to share that quick update with you. And then that is everything I have in the park updates for right now.
Okay. Now,
Oh, and so now,
2203, 703.
yes, thank you. I will turn this time over to Jamie for an update on programs and events and activities.
Liz, can you start my video
sure can.
when I finished with the pool update?
Absolutely.
So just wanted to bring back a little bit more information in regards to the pool. Last time I shared more numbers in regards to participants, but I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of information on staffing. So we did hire 24 new staff. We had 18 returning staff for a total of 42 aquatic staff. Normally that sounds like a good number, except for the fact that 24 of them were new. And when I say new, I mean between 15 and 16 never guarded a pool before. And even some of our returning, if they were returning as a second guard, remember that their last experience guarding a pool was during COVID, and so their experience on the job was minimal. So this was a great year for us to build up our aquatics team, and that is our hope, to be able to do that, to be able to be open more next year, next summer. That is our intention. So we are wanting to really foster relationships with those staff that we had throughout the year, keeping connections with them, sending them postcards, reminding them when we have our recruitment being open. The other promising thing is that we did have 20 guards go through our junior guard program. Our junior guard program starts at 12, but that program does funnel the passion for a lot of these younger kids to want to work as lifeguards as they get older. And we do have a good number of those folks that will be able to get certified. The other promising thing was that while we only started with 8 swim instructors, 6 of them brand new, we were able to certify 5 more throughout the swim season. So again, promising numbers in hopes that next year we'll be ramping up our recruitment process, that we'll be able to have more hours of open swim and hopefully some more swim lessons next summer. So any questions on the pool? And was that kind of what you guys were looking for? Okay.
And attendance was really good this summer.
Yeah, so I shared last meeting in regards to our participant numbers. So we offered we had 817 swim lesson registrations, and of those 817, 484 were individuals. And that means we had 484 different kids go through a swim lesson. And we did have over 10,000 participants in our open swim and our swim events. With a modified pool schedule this summer, I think those are good, healthy numbers for us. And when I share a little bit in the new business category, I can also share what we learned from our survey about what people were saying about the pool as well. So, any other questions regarding the pool? All right, so I'm going to jump into October. You guys all know this is one of our busiest months, and I'm going to have Liz start video for us, and because I figured that the visual of all of these events is much more fun than me just spouting out a bunch of information. So you guys get to be entertained with all of the different events. I'm not even covering every event that you'll see pictured here. So if you see something that grasps your attention, feel free. No music. I'm your music. I'm your voiceover. So October, Pretty in Pink, we raised over $1,500 and had the highest turnout of participants of 130 dancers. Liz already talked about Make a Difference Day that was hosted by CDC. We cleaned up Flatiron. We had a lot of garbage out there. We did some rock painting. We changed out the flowers and did some work at the focal point along with all the volunteers that went out to Silly Mountain. And great turnout of all the different youth groups that came out to help, along with our businesses, along with, the Conleys were out there. We saw some politicians out there. So it was a great turnout and a great mix of our community. Our seniors were the host city for their senior bingo virtual event. This event started last year where they actually broke the Guinness Book of World Records for the most participants in a virtual bingo event. While they didn't break the record this year, it was still a great turnout, and we were especially proud to be the host city. We had our movie in the park, which was actually moved due to the weather, and that was moved to the Multi-Gen Center, but it did not hurt our attendance one bit. We had over 200 come out to see The Nightmare Before Christmas, but the biggest turnout was actually we had Jack and Sally actually at our event for the kids to meet and greet, and that was really exciting for them. Our mud run, which Dee brought up that she volunteered at, yes, we had a lot of people at our mud run, almost hit 400 participants. Our peak year, I think, was at a little over 400, so we were pretty close. We did change up the course a little bit. We changed up the parking. We moved the stage. So we did make some changes to that event, and every single one of them was a good change. We received lots of good feedback from that event. And I think I mentioned before, our youngest participant was 2, and our oldest was 78. So lots of families come out for that event, and at $10 a person, it is great opportunity for them to be able to come out and do something to that of that nature. Our flag football league, we have 2 leagues for 6 to 8 and then 8 to 11, increased in participation by 60% this fall. We were able to add 2 additional teams to each league for an additional 4 teams this season. The Pumpkin Plunge, which was held on October 29th, was the first the first pumpkin event at our pool. It was sold out twice. So we sold it out, increased our participation, and sold it out again. So we did have a total of almost 65 participants out of the 75 that were registered that didn't just come to plunge for a pumpkin. They stayed, they swam. It was warm enough. I know I saw a couple comments about it's too cold. The pool is heated to a nice warm 76 to 80 degrees. The outside temperature that day was a nice warm day, so the combination of the two made for a perfect event. We ended October with our Halloween festival, as most of you mentioned. First and foremost, thank you to all of the commission members who did come out and attended. A big thank you to Lost Dutchman Realty. Not only do they help financially support the trunk or treat, but they bring their family and their friends to volunteer. They bring their big RV to store our candy so it doesn't melt, because that's a factor here. And also, for the first time, because of the support of our local Little League, we were able to add a pumpkin patch to the event, and we ended up giving away 500 pumpkins at no charge. So, very excited. We did find some challenges with Superstition Shadows Park, but we are excited to already start making improvements for next year. We did anticipate that we would hit about 5,000 participants, and if we didn't hit that mark, we were certainly very close. We added an hour onto it to make it from 4 to 8 instead of 5 to 8. The goal for that was to spread the crowd out for parking and traffic purposes. Again, we think we were successful in that, although we did see a dip in some of our costume contest entries. But we believe that is because those younger kids came earlier and left earlier. So we're going to be working on some different strategies for that. Yes, we will have a pirate graveyard, being that I have somebody that has volunteered to make that happen and take it to the next step, so we're excited for that. So what brings us to November? How do we top all of that? Well, you think we're trying to catch our breath just a little bit, but we are full force into our Park to Park challenge has started. So that's 4 parks, 4 different challenges. It's a $5 registration. You do a whole bunch of work to get a free t-shirt your $5 t-shirt. But it's a great way for people to get around and see our different parks. Our concert, we have a concert on November 5th. It's That Band, so that is at Flatiron Park at 6:30. We will be present at FOTS hosting a cornhole tournament. So if any of you guys are excited about playing cornhole, or you're not excited but still want to participate, you can. And then we have our pickleball tournament on November 18th and 19th. We have a few little things mixed in there along the way, but those are the big notable ones. And lastly, we'll be hosting our holiday event December 3rd at Flatiron. A couple of changes this year for you guys to know is that we will not be bringing in snow this year. Snow has gotten to be very expensive. It's very labor intensive, meaning it takes a lot of staff to work that area. We found that we can get a lot more return by changing it up. So we will have some fake snow. We have some really cool lamps that have been ordered. They blow little snow flurries, kind of like bubbles. We will incorporate some of that into our Candy Cane Lane. And then we are going to be doing like a winter wonderland set up for kids to have all kinds of crafts. So we are adding a much more hands-on experience for the kids to be able to go through for all ages, and we're really excited about that. So you'll see the marketing's been changed up a little bit. We're gonna try to manage that expectation. I know that people will be disappointed because in Phoenix area, this might be the one opportunity those kids get to play in snow. So we are going to try to manage that early on and letting people know that this year, unless nature provides it on its own, we will not have snow at our event. So, but we will still have our light parade everything else is the same. So we're at Flatiron, the time is the same. We will have the light parade will be immediately following the field activities and events. We're going to be doing some contests and games for the kids on the stage. So staff have been working on this for a couple of months, and we're really excited to have it off at Flatiron, and we'll see how it goes because I think attendance will go up just like they have, but I'm not worried about it at all. If you guys are looking for something to do and you need homework to report back on your next meeting, we would love to have some volunteers at the holiday event, and your options would be to work a game booth, work a craft booth, or you could help us get our surveys out and help work at the Parks and Rec information tent, giving out information related to our department. So that concludes my recreation events and programs report.
And then last on our staff report, I probably should have put this at the front of it and moved it around a little bit, but as you can see, we have a new commissioner that was appointed at the mid-October council meeting. So Sheryl Bigelow, we just want to welcome you. We're so excited to have Sheryl. She works closely with the Salvation Army. She works for that agency, and then very involved in the community in many capacities. And I think she was named to another board to library board?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just going to give Sheryl a chance to tell just a little bit about herself and what her interest in being on the Parks and Rec Commission was.
Well, I'm very honored to be a part of this commission. I just love Parks and Rec. So it's a privilege to be here to serve, because I'm all about serving the community. And just to approve everything that Parks and Recs does and continue to see the growth. I just love all the events, and I love, like, with the flowers, that is so out-of-the-box thinking. I love that when I saw that posted. So, and I've been in Apache Junction for, I don't know, like, almost 20 years. I have my own business that I operate through Mall of Peddlers, heat relief and outreach navigator with the Salvation Army. I do a lot with Genesis and just about every other nonprofit, and AJ.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're very excited. And then Commissioner Mueller was reappointed this year as well, so her term had expired, but she was reappointed by our council. I will say that I know we are very excited. We have such a great team, and I think we have such a great diverse group that's on our board. I will say that it was a struggle for many of the other boards to get folks that were interested in being a part of it. And definitely, if you know of individuals that are interested, there are so many great boards. So again, Sheryl's on the library board. Judy, are you on the library board also? Yeah, okay. So a lot of neat things. And then Citizen Leadership Institute is coming up. I know that many of you, it's enough just committing to this meeting once a month. So that's perfectly fine. But if you have any interest, let us know. They are taking applications right now for Citizen Leadership Institute. Is it also on Wednesdays, on a different Wednesday when you did it?
It was on Tuesdays.
It was on Tuesdays? Okay.
And you get a cool shirt.
Oh, there you
too.
go. So just wanted to share that if you have interest, or if you know of other people that they're not ready to serve yet, but they want to learn more, the Citizen, in fact, many of you have already been through it, the more that I think about it. Now that I see it now, almost all of you have been through it. But if you know of other people, that's another way to start getting people interested in boards and commissions and being involved in the community.
Liz, is that under Al Bravos?
It sure is. Yep, Al Bravo and Matt McNulty
Okay.
produce that every single year, but Al's office is definitely who accepts the applications. It should be it's on the website right now, so people should be able to easily find the information. And that concludes our staff report.
Okay. Okay. Now, Jamie, you've presented everything you needed to present, right?
Nope, this is new.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's old, but new.
Oh, you're the old business.
You're the old business. Wah, wah.
So I
Nothing meant
am,
personally.
What's that?
It's not meant personally.
Oh, I know. So I am coming back to share a little bit about the survey. We are not completely done, but you guys had asked for kind of a little update this month. I'm not sharing anything in slides or pretty graphs or anything like that because the survey's not finished, and the data that I'm providing with you tonight is raw data. But I do want to kind of give you guys an update. At this point, we have collected 627 total surveys. That doesn't mean that all 627 answered every single question. That means they started it or might have skipped a few, but 627, and we are still working on all the avenues that I talked about before of still getting that survey out. And we are more than happy to give you guys more surveys to help you get the word out or help you find ways to get the word out. But so with that, some interesting facts that are some statistics I know at this point. 64% of those completed surveys were done by women, so go us. 30% were ages 25 to 34, followed by 24% in the 35 to 44 age group. So go younger crowd. Whatever generations those are the ones that are that the majority of who have filled out this survey so far. 55% of those that completed the survey have children under the age of 18 still living at home. 29% have only lived in AJ for 2 to 5 years. 23% have lived in AJ for 6 to 10 years. So I feel like we're getting good feedback from those folks who are kind of new to our community. And I think that number then starts to drop off as the question asks how, what's the longest you've lived here? So those were our highest percentages. 83% of the people who filled out the survey think they are an AJ resident. And I put that because not everybody really knows if they truly are an AJ resident. But perception is everything, right? So 83% of those completing the survey are residents. When asked the question about how did participants feel about our programs, and it was broken down into a couple of different categories, but in regards to staff, registration, the value of the program, the cleanliness of the program, 70% marked good or excellent. There's still fair in there, but to me, fair is fair. I want to know how excellent we are. So 70% marked us as good or excellent. The most visited facilities appear to be the Multi-Gen Center, our parks and open spaces, Silly Mountain, and 56% said the pool, which I thought was interesting because the pool is open 10 weeks out of the year. But the survey also came out during the summer, so could be a very good correlation. Marketing, no surprise that 34%, the highest, was through Facebook. And then 25% noted the city website. So that still tells me that people are looking to our website, and it is important to keep it up to date because people are going there to still find our information. So that's kind of like, we have a whole lot of stats. We have a whole lot of other data, but I wanted to catch the things that really stood out right away. And we will be coming back. So like I mentioned, we're going to collect surveys through the beginning of December through our holiday event. Then we're going to take some time in December and January to really look at the data, to drill down the data, decide, do we need to go beyond that and, start to get, folks to come in and ask more specific questions based on what we learn. So we will be coming back. We'll bring back Riley, our analyst, to kind of give you guys the fancy graphs and easy to read information where you guys will have some chance to really dissect it yourself and have questions for us based on those findings. And we'll have that for you guys in early 2023 at some point.
And then just to add to that, so our previous board has done a lot of work on our Parks and Rec strategic plan. So it was one of our main topics for about 6 of our meetings. And so we have a lot of your guys' feedback and input. We are working on the customer feedback right now. And we also have the citizen survey that the city does every 2 years. It does have a small Parks and Rec component, so we will use that as well in some of our decision making. Once we have all of these details, the part that we're coming back to you guys about is to start talking about what are going to be our short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals that will be part of our strategic plan for making sure that we're maintaining and improving current parks. How are we going to plan for new amenities that are wanted? What are we doing in our current programs and activities? And what are some of the newer things that we want to be having on the horizon? So you guys will have a lot. Once we have that data, then it'll be time doing the work of prioritizing it and thinking about, what has the community said and how do we interpret that? Anything else?
Was there a question, I'm trying to remember if there was on that survey, regarding winter visitors? I know they're coming in now, so.
There is not a specific question, but that's why we took this data now. So we know that this data came in through,
There is resident or a,
it says resident or non-resident.
no, it says resident, non-resident, and part-time resident,
Oh, okay.
I think, is what we looked at today, the more I think
So-
about it.
Okay.
But Jamie's right. Our number one goal is that we wanted to do it first in the summer and then again, see what we get different. And so that's why this October one has been compiled. So we have that data to be able to separate it from what we get altogether.
And those surveys went out to all of the mobile home parks and resorts, RV resorts?
No, they did not specifically go to, they weren't directly mailed to everybody. We did not take them to like specific home developments or mobile home parks, but they did go out. They've been out social media, they've been out in print media, they've been out at events. They did go through the school system, very in print, in social media. through emails. We have them down at the chamber, so, but we did not specifically target the mobile home or RV parks.
Okay.
And again, we can add that. So again, that's what tonight was about, was finding out if there's some other things that you're thinking of that are other ways that we don't have a campaign of money for like mailing or anything like that, but we could certainly take things down. We have talked about our neighborhood meetings are mostly RV parks. And so we'll definitely already be planning on doing that, but that's definitely another great resource.
Well, and if you need help doing that, I can, help deliver some
Perfect.
of those, maybe stacks of
That'd be awesome.
surveys.
Yes.
I think it'd be a great idea to add into food boxes.
Oh, yeah, that's an awesome
So I know
idea.
the Salvation Army would be more than happy to.
Yeah, so Jamie has a great one pager. Do you think that individuals will have phones that they can access the internet or not really? Should they have?
The majority
paper?
do,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We can get those flyers. So yeah, we can get those over to you.
And we did take them to our senior programs, and our staff physically helped fill them out on paper because a lot of those do not have the capabilities. And then we sent them home through our home delivered meal programs. So getting them out through the boxes that'd be another great way.
And so I think that's the other thing, is if you think of other ways that we could reach people that we're not already working with. So again, all of our programs and parks, they kind of already know about us. We really do want to hear, from everybody in the community. And so if you have other resources that might not necessarily even know that the MGC is there or whatever, certainly shoot me or Carol an email, and we'll make sure we pass that out. We get that information from Jamie and Riley. The other part that I forgot that I was thinking in my mind was on this, that is related to getting information out. But Frank will be sharing more about the Welcome Wagon development stuff, but that's another great tool that we can be putting in. So just know we'll be sharing more on that. That's going to be, that's happening right now, so. And I think that's that one.
Oh, wait, I thought of a great idea too. CAC.
Yeah, are they
We do
on our
have
list, right?
contact with CD. Yeah, with CAC. We do have a contact and some outreach for them as well. So
That concludes that section.
That's, okay. Now, are we at, is this? We're back up.
So do you want me to move on to Dutchman Dog Park?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I am going to show you quickly, if you were at any of the council meetings where they discussed, the Public Art Commission they've had many meetings and discussions. The artist that was picked was awesome, and I just want to blow it up so people can kind of see the detail in this. So his art is metal. Mr. O'Toole, he is a local Arizona artist. He does a lot of artwork for many municipalities and in outdoor settings. He's done some really amazing things. Terrell was our representative on the panel that selected the artist. And then once the artist was selected, he came out and did a site visit and then gave several options to the Art Commission. And so the Public Art Commission, their role is to review art in the community and make a recommendation. And so this was so try not to get, again, too caught up on colors, because colors on screens aren't quite perfect. But they are incorporating some color schemes. We wanted it to be bright and vibrant at the dog park, but this one is a husky with its pup. And the council's weighed in so the commission made their recommendation, and then that went to the city council for final approval. Last night, they approved the art. So this is the main structure. It is 6 feet tall, so it's hard to tell here. But this is the entrance to the park. So over here is the 2 gates, and this open area is where we identified an area for art. It will actually be on a pedestal, so on a very, I think it's 4-inch cement slab, so that way irrigation and, whenever water and things like that hit there, it's not going to damage it. It is metal. It is very high quality paint. He has a lot of experience doing art in the elements, so we're very confident in that. They are intended for, kids will be climbing on it, and it is something that people can touch. None of these these are not sharp, you can't tell here, but nothing is gonna be sharp. It all gets really sanded down. He has come and, we've definitely discussed this at length at our site, of what, Parks and Rec is comfortable with maintenance-wise, what our concerns are, and then he has been invited, it's been discussed at length at the city council meetings. In addition, he was able to do another, let me zoom out of this one a little. This one is with the gentleman to show you scale more than anything. One of the neat things, so we're gonna get that really great art feature, and in addition, for the amount of money that the Art Commission has set aside, he has enough money to do a second art piece. And I think that's really cool that he didn't just say, yeah, I'm pretty sure people would have been happy with the first art structure as the one piece. This little bulldog is going to be off to the side a little bit. So if you kind of envision here, it'll either be over here in this section or there's another section over here. Kind of a little hidden gem, a little Easter egg for people to find and see. And there's a lot of discussion about it. We're really excited about how fun it is. And that's really what the Public Art Commission was going for. One of the things I think, this is our very first piece in our community, and so it's really a hard thing to do, to think about how art affects people differently, how it's going to be utilized in our facility, but we're really thrilled that they picked our park as the first place for the art installation. So that's the art that's going to be coming to the dog park. Sometime after the first of the year is whenever he'll have the pieces ready for install. So we'll keep you posted on that. But any questions on the art before I move on to other items?
Looks great.
I think people are going to enjoy it.
Yeah,
It's going to kind of make them feel happier.
yeah, absolutely. So we're real excited about it.
There was quite the discussion on that bulldog.
It was, yes. And you know what? That's good to have lots of discussion. Couple of things on operations that we wanted to share with you. So if you drive by the dog park right now, so right now is overseeding time. And so our initial plans for overseeding this year is that we would do it in phases. So that way we would always have 2 sections open at all times so that we could continue to keep the large active dogs and then the passive dogs separate. We're going to listen to our dog park users and see if that's a good idea or not. So it means that for 3 months, one area is constantly being closed and other areas are kind of being utilized. We would have liked for the mesquite to be done much earlier, because now that winter visitors are coming, we really feel like we need that big area. But unfortunately, we had another major rainstorm right prior to the second round of overseeding. So instead of doing mesquite, we needed to do the middle section just because it was too wet. We couldn't do the things we needed to do. So right now, is mesquite started yet, or is it coming up? It's coming up soon. So it will be closed for 4 weeks, and so then both sets of owners will be they'll be in the 2 smaller areas. And so that definitely will be a little bit more challenging, I think. But like I said, I think everybody understands that this is if we want to have grass, we have to be able to do this rotation. Otherwise, it's dry, dead grass, and that will just get torn up. So if we don't overseed, we won't have that rotation of grass. And like I said, we're going to learn a lot. This is also the opportunity for us to fix all the problems. So again, as you recall, this summer our irrigation system did not come in on time. It was, again, another one of those long lead items. We wanted to still open. So we had more like a residential grade irrigation controller. It didn't have all the bells and whistles that our normal parks would have. So when we'd have rain or we'd have issues, we couldn't tune things at the time. So mesquite really suffered a lot. So awesome opportunity though right now that it's overseeding time. It'll get overseeded. Our contractor is willing to help us for the next year to make sure that it looks good at this time. And then if it still isn't coming back in spring, that they'll do some different things for us in the springtime. So we're really happy to have them on board. So that's kind of the overseeding. We've gotten a lot of feedback. I think I've already shared with you on, more benches, more shade. those kinds of things. That is definitely in our plans. Those do cost money, and so we will be looking at that in the context of a donation as our donor program. We'll be sharing that with the dog park users here soon. And then additionally, we have had a handful of, why can't, not maybe understanding where dogs should be. Some individuals would like the dog sections to be different. We haven't had a whole lot of that, but we're definitely going to be reaching out. We'll have been open for a little over 6 months, so it's a good time to do a little pulse check with our community and actually be talking to the people that are actually using the dog park. So a lot of people have opinions of what we should be doing at the dog park, and they never bring their dogs. So we really want to talk with the folks that are actually utilizing it on a regular basis, find out what their issues are. I think, Kelly, I don't know if you have any comment on, of the type of, if we're having any kind of issues or anything like that you might want to weigh in on.
Our issues, we don't really have many issues. The biggest problem that we have is doggy bags getting replaced, getting emptied, getting stuff like that. But as far as the users, they all love it. We have dog fights every once in a while. We've had one bite of a person, but it was the person's own dog that bit him. So we haven't had any of that, so we're knocking on wood. It's a lot better than what we expected. We planned for the worst, but hope for the best, and we're getting the best right now, so hopefully it keeps up.
And then we will have a lot. We just ordered a bunch more signage for some of our reminders that we'll be putting out on A-frame. So things, just reminding people to pick up. It's amazing how many people at a dog park don't pick up after their dog, or right outside of the dog park. So just reminding folks, and again, the vast majority are really great about following the rules. It's just those few things that we want to remind people of. Additionally, and this is what I meant to say to Riley. So I think we probably will try to work on a little bit of a campaign now that we have winter residents coming in now that won't have been here when we first opened, and we did a huge push at the beginning to make sure that people understood about having their licenses and their tags, understanding our rules and our times that we're open. And so I think over the next month will be a good time to do another big push of campaign. We did such a good job of it. Our animal control officers were actually thrilled. They saw a huge increase in dogs getting licensed, period, in the community, and they just felt that it's been a huge benefit having it, whereas, I think everybody's a little fearful in the beginning of what a dog park might mean, so we want to continue that. Are there any questions that you all have that you've heard, or that you have concerns of, or that you just want to know?
Do we know how many trees has been donated yet?
We have not rolled out a true donate, so we just have the one tree that was donated at the beginning. We have the opportunity for several different areas that we are going to be adding some trees to. So we just have the 2 original benches, and then the one tree, as well as all of the waste. So we had somebody donate we added 2 more waste stations after we opened. Waste stations were having them more spread out because Mesquite's so big. So we had Aaron McDermott with the State Farm here locally donated all the money for all of that. So his information is going up on some of those. So those are our donor items right now. And then, like I said, we'll be rolling out some more opportunities and sharing that as we go. Okay. But we'll definitely be talking with our users, our user group as well. Anything else?
Anybody?
Thank you.
Okay, now we're at call to the public.
Nope. New business.
No, wait. Okay, new business, number 8.
You ready for me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so one of the items that was asked to be shared, Frank had asked about giving a report on where our security cameras are and all of that. So I'm gonna have, Kelly is gonna present on that, and while he's coming up, I'm gonna pull up a map just to kind of show you where we do have cameras. And then you all got this, you have this handout it's hard to show our whole city at once, I'm recognizing now. And this is not our whole city right now. This is just the part, because it does not have the annexed area yet, I don't think. Oh, it might. Okay.
Thank you, Liz. She wanted me to give just a brief presentation on our cameras that we have in the parks. Just so everybody knows, our cameras are there not only for our rangers to use. Basically, if we're shorthanded, there's a park ranger out at Prospector Park. He can look at cameras at SSP, at the skate park, so he can not be there but see what's going on at the same time. But our cameras overall were mainly put in place for the safety and security of our staff, our park patrons, as well as our park itself. And with regards to the park's maintenance yard, we had a few break-ins there where they stole equipment, where they stole different things there. So at Prospector Park, the only place that we have them right now is at the shop yard. And those are able to see just about every corner of that shop yard so that we're protected for all the equipment that is stored there. But mainly it is used for safety, security. MGC, it's a multi-million-dollar facility. We want to make sure that it stays that way, that we keep it from getting damaged, that we also protect our staff with the number of people that goes through there, as well as the patrons themselves. MGC, it says 16 cameras. We actually have 32 views from those 16 cameras. Some of the cameras that are on there have 4 lenses in each of those cameras. So we do have 32 cameras there. It covers. We don't have any in the classrooms. We don't have any in the big multi-purpose room, just for the simple fact is it's not someplace that because it's used quite a bit, it's not something that we deemed necessarily at the time. So I know when the building was first there, we had cameras there. Shortly after, when they gave me the cameras, we upgraded a lot of those cameras so that they're more crisp, they're more clear, we can see what's going on. They're recorded, everything is recorded, and those are kept for 14 days. That way, if somebody comes up and say, hey, my iPod was stolen, or my iPad or a phone was stolen someplace, we can go back and look at the footage on that particular day. Not only, the shop maintenance yard has 9 cameras. It has 11 views. Little League is a little bit different. It has 2 cameras front and back of the concession stand, because that has been broken into a number of times. The difference with that is we had no infrastructure there to get it back to the city. So if I have to view those cameras, I have to take a monitor and a keypad to the location and download the stuff from there. The park, Superstition Shadows Park, we have 4 cameras, but all 4 of those cameras are the quad dome cameras, which each one has 4 lenses, so we have 16 views. 8 of those are at the skate park, which they also watch the parking lot. They picked up the street. They picked up everything in the skate park. They even pick up a little bit of the ramadas that are down where the bus drop-off is for the kids at school, so we can watch that too. We had 2 new cameras at the skate park put in. One Ramada number 4, which is by the playground, so we can see the playground for vandalism, for any accidents that may happen, stuff like that, which we can keep eyes on that. The other one is over at Ramada number 7, which is in front of the tennis courts, and it has a quad view as well, where we can see 4 different directions. Mainly what we do is watch the tennis courts, and we have our new storage out there for our parks maintenance staff. We have 1 camera that's pointed towards it as well. Not only do we use them, PD has used them. They'll call me and say, hey, we had a hit and run. And this is a real-time example is MGC. They had a hit and run in the parking lot, where somebody claimed that they got hit or their car got hit while it was in the parking lot. I was able to pull up that footage and actually see it happen, and actually watch the guy get out, look at his vehicle, get back in his vehicle, and left. He left. So we were able to help PD with that to get that. We've had that on several different occasions where we've been able to help police just by having those cameras. They're thankful we have them. Dispatch can actually pull up those cameras and view them real time as well as my rangers and myself. We can pull them up. I can pull them up on my phone because we get alarms. Prospector is alarmed. I can get alarm, and if there's a storm going on, I look at the camera. I can go back and look at it on my phone and say, well, there's nothing going on. I can just reset the alarm from my phone, from my home. Don't have to send PD out. We have some of that happen at the multi-gen as well. We have a door that sticks on the front side of that building. It's closed. Somebody will pull the door. The alarm goes off immediately. They go right back out. That way, you know, I can send either one of my guys or PD just to check it out to make sure that they get out. But I'm not sure exactly what else you needed, but I can answer any questions you may have.
Really quick before we go into questions, can you also share the aquatic center? So I know you shared the park at Supers and
Yes,
Shadows, but
Aquatic Center, we do have 5 cameras. It's actually 9 views. There's one camera in there that has the quad dome. And basically, that is more protection for not only the people, because most people are leaving their stuff in the grass, up against the fence, at the bleachers, stuff like that. We can also see accidents. We can also see any confrontations between staff or patrons themselves. So it gives us an idea of what's going on in the park or in the pool. There's a lot of people that are in there. So that gives us that advantage so that we can see what's going on either after or during. We can pull it up live view and watch what's going on there too.
what questions did you, I know, Frank, you had asked for this item. Were there some items in particular?
I was looking at Flatiron.
Yeah, that's what I was
With-
thinking.
with,
Flat,
Yeah, so we'll
Flatiron?
talk a little, if you have any more questions about what we have, and then we'll talk a little bit about future as well.
I think what we have is excellent.
Me too. As it provides safety. It's very important, just as not on the negative aspect, but on the positive aspect. If something were to go wrong, you guys are able to really capitalize on it within minutes instead of hours, and that really does make a difference.
Absolutely. And not only that, the cameras themselves being up there and people knowing that they're up there is a deterrent in itself. There's cameras. I'm not going to do anything wrong and, you know, get caught. The problem is we went through about 6 years of the cameras didn't work at all, or were intermittent, or the cameras themselves were bad, or
And mainly due to connectivity issues, we shared with you when we were having some vandalism in Supers and Shadows Park, it was very challenging for the park rangers. Having now that infrastructure has been stabilized, we have a better connection, we've replaced with some better cameras, and so it's been much better.
big thanks to IT department for getting
absolutely.
that connectivity better out there.
And so Kelly, if you could maybe just wrap up with what we think is on the horizon for future parks that are the priority. So again, a little bit at a time, but Kelly can share what we know is kind of newest coming.
And we do have 2 cameras at Flatiron. Wouldn't call them cameras because it was part of the lighting pilot program that we there, and it was kind of an afterthought to throw in the cameras. They never really work. We can pull them up. The problem, 2 problems with that is when we pull them up, you can watch it for 10 seconds and then it spools. And then you can't see them. You can't watch cameras.
Really quickly though, these are not ones that we paid for.
No.
So there was a pilot program at Flatiron where they wanted to try out a Wi-Fi service for the public. It was a company that came in and did a free trial changed out our lighting. And so the lighting fixture itself had some Wi-Fi capability as well as cameras is what was part of it. But it really wasn't something that we went out and said, this is exactly what we want and need. We didn't really understand it completely, but it's a pilot program. They're willing to keep them there. And as we, so again, there's a couple there. It's not really worth even mentioning. They're not ones that we utilize.
And they're not recording.
Yeah.
Those don't record, so there's no playback after the fact there.
Right.
What we are looking at, we're still working with IT to get infrastructure there for connectivity, Because no matter what camera we put up there, we are going to have issues with connectivity until we get infrastructure to the building there that we can then get the cameras that will function like our other cameras into the network where we can view them real time, we can record, we can do stuff like that. Liz and I are working with the police chief right now, looking at other options in the meantime that may be more of a Band-Aid right now to get something out there that actually works. We're looking at a system that has, you know, a cellular built into it, which being up on the pole with the system might be better than what we're doing now, because basically what we're doing now is the modem itself is in the restroom building, and the camera has to shoot it to the restroom building and then over to us. So it's not really feasible. This one is supposed to be where it's all contained. It records in the same device, and then we can access that anytime. So that's something that we're looking at. I know we had talked about the dog park, if the need arises there, or if we have the funds and the capability of doing that.
Yeah, so our IT department, so we did reach out to IT about Flatiron particularly because we've had a lot of issues this summer. And at the chief's recommendation of just kind of looking into that, having a little bit more protection there so that we could also view it when we're not there. So our IT does have funds this year that they are looking at trying to beef that up. That will be one of our priority areas. It's also in the downtown area, so it's also helpful for, you know, various reasons. And then the dog park is our secondary. So dog park is what is in our plan that we've shared that we would love to be considered for next fiscal year. So I'd say within the next year and a half, those will probably be 2 areas.
Good. I'm glad to see progress there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, they're the high-activity area.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, for safety and security, we also have some assets that are really important. And the best deterrent to somebody vandalizing or graffiti or doing anything is to get caught. And if there's not somebody there, then they get away with it. They think that they can do more. And that's what we were experiencing at Superstition Shadows Park. So it's definitely been a huge help.
Any
Thanks,
other
Kelly.
questions? Thank you.
Right, you had brought it up as
No?
your
And then the
question.
last short item under new business is the process for election of officers for the Parks and Rec Commission. We typically try to do this in December, so now that we have all of our new commissioners, wanted just to share kind of what happened. So in December, at our December meeting, we will be doing this item, and those of you that have been here before kind of have experienced it. So once it's time for this item, it will be an actual agenda item. Then the chair will call for nominations for, I think we start with chair? Yeah, one way or the other. We start with either the chair or the vice chair. Those are the 2 positions that we elect, or that you elect. So they'll call for a nomination. Let's say we're doing chair first. And so they'll call a nomination for the chair. An individual needs to be recognized by the chair. So it's, you know, Chairman Standage, you know, just raise your hand or make sure that he sees your eye. You're going to say, I'd like to nominate XYZ, so-and-so to be the chair. And so we'll record that. And he'll ask if there's other nominations. Somebody else might have another person to nominate. The chair has to ask 3 times before we can move on to the next item. And so we'll do the nominations, and then there's a motion to open up the actual vote. And the very first person that's nominated, this is important for everybody to understand, the very first person that's nominated has to be the very first person that's voted on. So it can get awkward at times because maybe somebody got nominated, but they want somebody else to be it. And so then there's no's in that early one, or just not knowing how we're going to get there. So really think through who you want to nominate. I would recommend talking to that one person and making sure they want to be nominated. I think we went through 3 people last time that we got the nomination and then they voted no for themselves or they declined or whatever. So just know you cannot discuss amongst yourselves about nominations. Again, remember the open meeting laws that we've talked about, and having those conversations, but it doesn't hurt for you to say, you know, so-and-so, I'm going to nominate you for whatever, are you interested, kind of thing. Like I said, we'll do that process, and so then the vote happens, and we'll vote for that. Every person will vote out loud for that first nominee. And then if they pass, if they get the most votes, we don't ever go to the rest of the nominees. So it's not like pick which one you want the best. We're only talking about the first nominee first. The vote will happen. If they get a majority vote, then they are the chair or the vice chair, whatever we're voting on. If they don't get the majority vote, we'll move on to the second person that was nominated, and then we'll go from there. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to call or ask me if you're not sure of what's happening. Carol will have a wonderful script for all of you, so that way you kind of understand and know what we're doing. Trying to think if there's, what's that? And you'll get that in your email ahead of time so you can kind of review it. Chairman Standage has shared with us, and I just think it's important to share with you that he is not interested in pursuing being the chair next year. And so I just wanted to kind of share that, and I want you all to think about, and I know we've encouraged you in the past to think about if you'd like to have another role. I think it's a great experience. I'll speak for Judy and Wayne. And Heather's been our vice chair before, so just know that if you're interested in that, then we definitely would love for you to throw your name in the hat or you can nominate yourself, I'm pretty sure, so. Yes, sir.
For the rest of you, it's been 5 years up here, and for health reasons, I need to drop down. So that's why you'll be looking for somebody to replace Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, that's right. I feel like it's been more than 5 years, hasn't it? As the chair?
No,
Maybe
No,
not.
if you include the
Tess
vice
was the chair,
chair.
that's right, it wasn't until she left.
I was
that-
the vice
Okay.
chair until,
Yeah. You've been a wonderful chairman, and so we appreciate you serving in that capacity for this board, but it's really awesome. I mean, I think it's a great experience. Judy, I think, has been a little bit nervous about having to take on that vice chair role and having to fill in at times, but she's always done a wonderful job. So definitely, encourage you to think about it. And that is really, unless you have other questions, we just want to make sure you're aware of what we're going to be doing. And so next meeting is important to be here at. We definitely need a quorum to be able to do that election. Joel will be doing his spiel at the January meeting. It's not technically
His
part of the
road
agenda,
show.
but usually he's part of election day, and he's not, because he's committed that day. So, but he'll be here for the January meeting to do he wants to do
road show.
the renewal, yeah.
Okay, is the no-dos going to be passed around that night?
I'll need to be excused for January, no.
It is very educational,
So,
ladies and gentlemen, very
moving on.
educational.
So that concludes that agenda item. Thank you, Chairman Standage.
okay. Now we are at, call to the public. We've got one public. She's good? Okay, so that'll be done. 10 is call for future agenda items.
We're going to do Tree City next month?
Yes, we actually have we've had a couple of meetings so far, so yes, we'll add Tree City.
Please, thank you.
And I think Frank also had asked previously for an update on the, I can't think of a better word. I would love for somebody to come up with a better name than Welcome Wagon for Jamie and, we can't discuss it, but Jamie and Al have been working on that, and so we'll have a great report at the next meeting on that. So if somebody else comes up with a better name, let me know.
Okay, Liz, I got a question.
Okay?
On the open space there, with this last rainstorm, it was huge. How are we looking at?
So right now, we can just talk about what agenda item, we can't discuss any items. So if you want me to do a report on stormwater and how the storms I have some wonderful pictures that I would love to show you.
Okay, let's do
Okay,
that.
I will add that to the list. And it might show up in the director's report under parks or something like that, or a separate agenda item, but we'll make sure that's covered. Okay? Any other items?
Anybody else? No? No, we don't have anything else for future items. Okay. Number 11, selection of meeting dates, times, and location and purpose. Regular meeting of Parks and Recreation Commission will be held at 6 PM, December 7th. What a date. 2022 in the council chambers here, 300 East Superstition Boulevard. Do I have a motion to select further meeting dates?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Parks and Recreation Commission hold a regular meeting on December 7th, 2022 at 6 PM in the City Council chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard.
Do I have a second?
You got a second?
Okay. Carol, you ready for a roll call?
I do. Commissioner Frank Shanebeck,
Yes.
Commissioner Heather Muller,
Yes.
Commissioner Terrell Moore,
Yes.
Vice Chair Judy Bory,
Yes.
Commissioner D.L. Kine,
Yes.
Commissioner Sheryl Bigelow,
Yes.
Chairman Wayne Standage.
Yes.
Thank you, it's unanimous.
Okay. We adjourn this meeting now at 7:20 PM.